You're funny, bro. Hold on. You making me drop stuff. Let me take this shit. I'm not playing. All right, you got olive oil on my jeans, bro. What are you doing? There's no light. There's nothing to chase. You're too funny, bro. Oh, that feels so good. I'm gonna zap your ass. Now, what did you up to, bro? What? Will you be careful? Grabbing my feet and shit. You retarded. Whoo, Jah. Your ass got gone quick. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're 6. Oh, that's right. Yo, Mark, Mike, oh, Herb, Mondo. What's up, man? What's going on, beloveds? What's happening? What's happening? Just read on. I meant to read a little early, but I was at the range making some videos and stuff. Some of the new sidearms, firearms. Like if you live in Arizona, you can come over here and they got some pretty good prices, especially if you're a veteran. But ammo was gonna at Tannerite they have over there. I'm gonna order this bipod for my AR. I gotta make sure I get the right one because I got the bayonet and everything. I want to make sure I put it on there. I'm starving, y'all. I'm hungry. Get them while you can. Get them while you can. Get them while you can. You hear me? All right. I have to load them. Woo! So what's going on, beloveds? What's happening? Let me level this out. I took this with me to record. I didn't take a short one. I was shooting my boys Galil. Man, Magnum. Oh man, I gotta get one. That's a $2,000 rifle, bro. Maybe I can find a pawn shop that got it for like under 1,000 or something, 900. Oh, I like that Galil. Well, we didn't make it, y'all. So I was looking at my Gmail, and I'm gonna pull it up right now. And should have had some books in there today, but when I was leaving the post office, sure enough, they're unpacking stuff from trucks. I'm like, what is it with this late evening stuff? So I'm gonna check it tomorrow. It might be something in the box. I asked what's her name before she left. I said, could you leave a note to make sure they put it in the box? You know what I'm saying? Hey, thank you, Orlando. Appreciate that, beloved. I didn't turn the notifications off. So let me respond to you, beloved. Man, that's good. Appreciate it, bro. All right, so get this and then we'll get to the read. I meant to read like 2 hours ago, but I was there for a minute. You know how it is, guys. So your Amazon order should be here Tuesday, December 19th. What the fuck is going on with that? I thought it was Well, hey, Stevie, I just saw you hit me up. Okay. That was November 21st. I haven't really checked this a lot. Quintus, I know I got you on. Quintus McDonald, you know he's played for the Cincinnati Colts. I went to school with him. The community center, I got to share that with you guys. So let me start that. I was looking at some of the stuff, Amazon too. Okay, November 5th. What was that? Let me see here. Oh, that's on you guys. All right, let me see the order. Hold on. Password. All right, let me log down. I already got it. Why would I? Well, I already got the book. What's wrong with these people? All right. Anyway. Stupid. Excuse me. Oh, wow. $20 Amazon. Okay. So I was looking at, oh, here we go. Let's see. All the stuff that's supposed to be coming. I'll play that, so no, don't worry about those. On my phone, it seems like it's better up to date. I think because I removed a lot of stuff on my tablet, it's not updating as it's supposed to. So it's telling me the dates when I thought I was supposed to receive stuff today. I don't keep up. I thought it was Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not lying, y'all. All right, Jace Medical refills, medication storage shops. I'm not sure. I haven't used nothing. Maybe I should get some refills though, just to have them. Herbal A. I'm not messing with you people. I don't trust you no more. I really don't. James, did you write this and so and so? Yep, I sure did. Okay, hold on, guys. Excuse me. Demonology. That'll be here the 12th. Why is everything? I ordered this stuff last week. See, this is what I'm talking about, y'all. There's something going on. I ordered I got like 3 books, or 4 books, right? And I'm still waiting for the other ones. It was like 19 books total I ordered. And some were back. All right, that's word. It's confirmed. Okay, it came in because I told them to hold it when it comes in. Send it to me. Okay, let's put a star on that one. Order 52829 confirmed. Okay, that one's confirmed. At the star. All right, some of these books, they actually, even though when I ordered them, it was like 1 or 2 there. Somebody got it before me. You know how it is, first comes, first serve. But they sent me a message, and I made sure that, hey, when the books come in, mail it to me. So I know that's going to be a little later. But that 12th and the 19th is just ridiculous. So that'd be next week. The 19th is a little ways off. Not too far off, but that's just retarded. Ambrosia. I don't know about that. I'm worried about that. James, did you write? I was in college. What's wrong with these people? I got to find out why are they sending me that? Like, I never asked to be I think they're asking because when I order books, the information, that right there, 19th, right? Okay. That's the 19th too. So that's 3 books. All right. That's not 5 books. Okay. And that will be here when I don't have the date beside this one. Shipped. That also on the 12th. So those 2 books and then 3, that's 5 books total. 6 actually. Okay. It's those 2 books right there. I'm just scrolling down looking at the orders, and let me put a star beside that. Okay. Now that was shipped on the 3rd, like you would think it'd be here, right? So something's going on that don't make no sense, okay, guys? All right. That one that I mentioned is King James, if y'all unaware, unless you're aware. Let's let some more people come in. We're not in a rush. It's Friday. You guys don't need to be out drinking and drugging and all that other crap. Sit here and watch your brother read, and see how I disseminate some things. TikTok had this little goofy woman, a fake account. I know it was talking about Lucifer, Jesus loves you, and all this other stuff. I was like, man, if you don't get your goofy ass on somewhere. And you know, TikTok, little Chinese motherfuckers, because they know I'm serious. They're too dumb, because they believe they have enough to go around and die. I don't advocate violence, but I put things in position, in place. There's just no way around it. Warning. I was like, I said them back, man, kiss my ass. Excuse my French, but that's what I did. I don't know if they received it. Okay. You're not dreaming. I know. Everybody else is. Safe driving. My reward for safe driving. Okay. I'm not using that. I want to use that for. Okay. All right. So the other ones haven't mailed off yet. So that's what we're you feel me? That's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on the confirmation of those. They haven't even mailed those or shipped those yet. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I just wanted to go over that and give appreciation for the donation. All right. Anybody else come in? Go ahead and shout them out. Some people are too stupid. Lucifer, they're too dumb to know that Lucifer ain't got nothing to do with anything. Mikey Cox, I got you. Your Oak and Rondo's coming up day after tomorrow, Sunday, y'all. So that's what's up. I'm gonna do a little shooting. I'm gonna pick up some tannerite tomorrow. Bring some ammo. I know Ronald's gonna bring some ammo. All right. So I'm gonna read a little bit of Civilization 1 and a little bit of the Custodians. My back is sore, y'all. It's good. I didn't wear no brace or nothing like that. The what you call it, my copper tip, my copper, what you call it, which really is good. Besides that, chin ups, you know me, chin ups and pull ups. Oh, I gotta eat some more of this, guys. Oh, this salad is so good. Got 2 big sardines on there, real sardines, not fake, caught by friends of mine. Caught and smoked on the rest. With cabbage, red cabbage. Oh my goodness. If you got it, go get it. If you're hungry, go get it. Leave the fried stuff alone. If you got a steak, make sure it's medium rare. And you better make sure it's real. Why I say medium rare? That's the only way you're going to get anything that's beneficial. If it's cooked all the way through, you're just making a turd and creating carcinogens that your system really can't break down, okay? Seriously. Oh! Damn. I told you I was going to look it up. I'm sorry. Turn it off. All right, here we go. Why is my thing look so different now? They really bugging out. Okay, this is a magnesium citrate. Magnesium citrate is not the best magnesium. All right, that's a lie. Okay, and damn. What's that? I should have read it earlier. Some of y'all might have some suggestions. There's like several different kinds of magnesium, but there's only one that's really good for absorption. But then otherwise, it's best to put it on your skin, because that way, and vitamin D is best on your skin or sublingual, right? Not pill form. And then the sun increases it, because your body's supposed to be able to pull it from the sun. If you get mineral water and create it, your body's supposed to create protein, everything. Your body's supposed to be able to regenerate. Okay. But if you want a bio-optimizer, you got to know what magnesium to get. And I said I was going to look it up and find it for you. I forget the name of it. Because magnesium, vitamin D, all of it plays a part together. The thing is, when you're not getting a good amount of it, that's why I say when you get your blood work done, if you trust the needle, you trust the doctor, family doctor, whatever you have, tell them you need to know your mineral content, okay? Because they won't tell you. I think it's magnesium glycinate, if I remember right. If I remember right. Let me just type that in. For absorption, right? Okay. So let me see. Type in glycinate. Best magnesium with 23 buyer's guide. Magnesium is a mineral found in every organ in your body. No kidding. Especially your heart, your lungs, your brain, and all that. Headaches and all that. So why do they want to do this big? This is why I can't stand pale skin mother suckers. They got to do this big breakdown explanation. Either you're really about putting out some. I'm wondering if this is from China. We don't want it from China. Widely considered the best form of magnesium on the market because of its incredible absorption rate, glycinate is the preferred magnesium for sleep, cramps, blood pressure, and supporting mood. Okay. What vegetables? Look it up. Okay. Sometimes you got to do the work, people. All right. Anyway, anybody else? Who else came in? Celtic salt has all been taking. Awesome. Be careful with that right now, because they ran out so fast because they do third-party shipments like Walmart and eBay and all those things. Remember I was talking about I used to take Life Extend, but when I was ordering, it was not from the company, so I called them over there in Georgia or whatever, and they were like, "Sorry, Mr. Branch, that's third party. That's, even though it's a label and stuff, and we do ship out bulk, they're not. It's not ours." And I was like, so when I hit the people up, guess who answered the phone? A handy. When I called the company, by George, by golly, why, I think we got one. You know what I'm saying? Good old boy. Sticks. All right. So anyway, let's read a little. I just want to read a little bit of Civilization 1. The World is Not As You Thought It Was, by Christopher Knight and Alan Butler. Okay. Don't worry, we're going to read some more other stuff too. I just want to read. I know what I read to you, because the introduction I didn't want to get into, because it goes one way and then boom, you hit the Great Wall of History, and then it alludes to something else. All right. So, all right, let's get this in. That's good. I want to eat that up. The invention of writing forged the will. Forget the will. It was the invention of writing that changed our world forever. Maybe you know what I'm going to say. The first wheels were used for turning clay pots and were later attached to axles to improve the efficiency of moving across dry ground for agriculture and warfare. This certainly helped in the production of food and aided its distribution to the growing communities that became the earliest cities. This is all a lie. But the book has great information in it. Why am I saying that? When we came here, we already knew how to build and everything else. They have to consort to make themselves be in a certain place for self-appreciation, which is steeped in a lie. All right? Growing communities that became the earliest cities. But major movements of people and goods relied mainly on sea lanes and inland waterways for thousands of years. The use of writing, however, had an immediate effect on commerce. Some of the earliest documents created were concerned with ships, manifests, and other documents of trade. Lunar calendars existed from as early as 2000 BC, carved on bone or antler, lies. But real writing developed extremely quickly in Sumer and Egypt, circa 3000 BC. We know that's scripted. They got to keep that lie permeating. I've been to those pyramids over there. Those mugs are fake as fake can get. I don't care what anybody think. Those pyramids are fraudulent. They're the youngest pyramids. They're fraudulent. And someone's attempt to rewrite history, well, the beginning of it, around the 1800s. It was this ability to record information without relying on the honesty and memory of others that really drove mankind forward to begin an age that we define as the beginning of civilization, circa 3200 BC. We know that civilization is a term created by the Ashkenaz Zionists. Okay, civility, all that civil mortis and everything about dead has nothing to do with a great number of people. It means you should know what it means. The first great breakthrough in communications had happened nearly 2 million years earlier when our distant ancestors, Homo erectus, isn't that darkness? Anyway, developed a larynx position lower in the throat than other primates. This piece of evolution caused these creatures the ability to breathe and drink at the same time, but it allowed them to generate a far wider range of sounds than had previously been possible. With a vocabulary of thousands of discernible sounds, spoken language is thought to have developed very quickly by this. The simplest form of vocal communication may have, because it'll lose to something else, a hunting ploy. For example, to imitate the sound of an animal and then point to its direction. Over time, true language developed as abstract sounds were used to represent objects and actions and then assembled into sentences to express complex issues such as human emotions. We're not humans. Language allowed for information to be passed on from one person to another. Now you see what I want to do to reset. But the next stage of development was to make a record of human knowledge and experience by drawing a representation of the subject matter. We can see that the drawings on the walls of prehistoric caves are a kind of proto-writing. We know that we are living in prehistoric times. Those times didn't exist. Any mark that records a specific meaning either to the originator or to others can fairly be called basic writing. The first writing systems were made up of hieroglyphs, which were used like a cartoon strip of pictures to contain information. He could have used better dialogue or grammar for that. These early writing methods came into use just over 5,000 years ago. We know that's a lie. And slowly developed into abstract notation, where the marks have a meaning that can only be understood by those people trained in the process of encodement and decodement. Reading, that is. But it seems that sophisticated meaning has been communicated by writing for a great deal longer than has been thought. That's why I'm reading this. Otherwise, I'd have took this book and been like sent it back. Like, you motherfuckers, I have 30 days. But no, I had to read a little bit. Just keep paying attention. Dr. Michael Rappenlock of the University of Munich has shown how a 16,000-year-old drawing of a horse in the caves of Locox in France is actually a carefully recorded lunar calendar. What at first view looks like a very attractive drawing of horse is now thought to be a means of keeping track of the phases of the moon. I know everybody's talking right now about this video on YouTube where they see the face next to the moon. They ain't gonna mess with y'all's head. Let it be. This surely qualifies as writing. This level of intelligence in Paleolithic man is hardly surprising, as a species, Homo sapiens, has not changed significantly either mentally or physically for well over 100,000 years. We may have moved from the Stone Age to the Internet Age, but each human being is no different today to their forebearer 500 generations in the past. We must also remember that while most of us have lived lives that have been shaped by the technological revolution, there are some groups of people around the world who still live as simple hunter-gatherers in a genuinely Stone Age existence. No, devastation and the wiping out and then the survival instincts of certain groups of individuals allude to something else. Even those people where that little dude went and got whack. No, that's not their origin. That's descent. Anyway, Anyway, for example, some Australian Aborigines and tribes in some parts of South America, and we know that some of the greatest cities still exist based on Tartary in South America, and destroyed by warfare by the so-called Vatican, Sephardic, and before they even realized those terms, all right, and crypto so-called Jews are very recent. Now, the remarkable Sumerians, now, mind you, given that speech has been around for so long, it would be surprising if communication through drawn symbols only arrived so very recently. The earliest form of writing that is generally accepted as such emerged more or less at the same time as the will. Both were invented by the remarkable Sumerian people who arrived in a land now known as Iraq from an unknown location more than 5,000 years ago. The Egyptians devised their earliest hieroglyphic system very shortly afterwards, probably within 200 years, just when Upper and Lower Egypt were united into a single kingdom. You can look up the individuals who wrote this book. I'll repeat them again here when we get done here. The so-called cuneiform, from the Latin cuneus, meaning wedge, because you know how it's shaped, like a nail, something that, like splitting logs or lifting or breaking granite and stuff like that. Okay. Any of you all ever broke rocks? I got to do that for about 6 months. Oh, goodness. Anyway, characters developed by the Sumerians were made by pressing wedge-shaped sticks into wet clay. Then Sumerian tablets may look rather unimpressive to us today, but those talking patterns were thought to have powerful magic by ordinary people. At first, the content of these documents were very basic, but as time went by, improvements added layers of sophistication until around 800 BC, when the Greeks created a full alphabetic. You remember what I said about what the Pelskins always run to? Okay. Alphabetic writing system that finally separated consonants from vowels. We know this is a lie. The period immediately before these early records were left by the Sumerians and the ancient Egyptians has become a virtual wall, and we know that regardless of what some cat in Chicago or this one over there and whatever these idiots think, this was Egypt. It was a period, and the origin of it was here. And this is, no matter what anybody says, it is a period of time that existed everywhere, but it was definitely here. Separating what we call history from everything that happened before, which we label prehistory. Everything that occurred before the advent of true writing is now considered to be myth and legend, because every piece of human knowledge had to be transmitted by word of mouth from generation to generation. Next, we'll get into the Great Wall of History, and it's going to bring it to another place. I don't want to read a whole lot. I just want to slowly grab you in. Now, I said I'm going to disseminate. We're going to break things down because these individuals, they have to keep up with the truth and a whole lot of radicalization of history, okay? Because they must keep people dumbed down. Otherwise, they wouldn't be allowed to write these books and use such intricate art and pieces like that. And I've read much farther, and it gets good. It's very interesting, okay? Now, let's get to the custodians a little bit. Now, we had that one custodian book, right, that I read, and the dude was telling the story to these English in England, supposedly in a car accident. Next thing you know, he gets up, he's healed, stands by the window, looks back at all the police and everything like that, the aficionados who write the narrative, and he pretty much lets them know, this is their game, okay? You want to call the Ashkenaz, they're too stupid. Warlike don't make you smart. They had to take everything from us, the original people of this land, and then disseminate it and make everybody believe otherwise, because they're the one that created the education system. They're the ones that did everything, stole, murdered, and the ones we've been fighting. While they say the relationship between a Negro and a Jew, one's a lie, and one is the fraud, and one is the truth. That's the relationship. And that's why I keep telling you that you're greater than what you can even forget arguing with people in their complacency and everything else, these religious zealots and everything else. Please let them be. Like, block them, ignore them, who don't pay them no mind. I know for some women who everything seems to be going right, they're just going to keep going at it. Like, let it go. This is one guy. He's a Spanish cat on TikTok, right? Somebody shared it. I was like, look what you shared. Is it two-spirit? There's no such thing. These people are lost in the catacombs of fake Native American history that's nothing to do with our people here because we want no two-spirit motherfuckers. That's all fraudulent. It's made up. It's to hold and keep and harbor the perversions of what was done. Okay? Whether you want to call it buck breaking and stuff, that stuff did happen. But the story behind it is all a lie. Okay? So anyway, The Custodian is by Dolores Cannon. Okay? Very good. I read y'all a little extra for this. I like this. Check this out. When I first began to work in, I'm going to read this again, it doesn't matter. When I first began, because some of you didn't hear this, a change of direction. When I first began to work in regressive hypnosis, have any of y'all ever read on that? It's pretty interesting. And past life therapy in 1979, the second place type thing, sounds, vibrations. I never imagined the unusual places and situations that road would take me. Over the ensuing years, it has taken me into some strange byways. I've had some incredible adventures, met some fascinating people from the shadowland of the past, and retrieved valuable information that was thought to have been lost forever. It was brought to the light of day by the incredible practice of regressive hypnosis techniques. My time was devoted exclusively to exploring the past and writing books. Okay, she shared something. I should turn the notification off. I probably should. No, I'm not going to turn it off. Anyway. By the incredible practice of regressive hypnosis, my time was devoted exclusively to exploring the past and writing books about my discoveries. My insatiable curiosity, my ravenous desire for research, and the craving for knowledge swept me up and carried me along a constant search. I was not concerned with hypnosis as applied to present-day situations unless it could be used to solve a person's problem in life. Problems which arose from phobias or health problems caused by the effects of a past life, trauma, stress, anxieties, and all that stuff that come with it, PTSD and all that, or karmic connections that carried over and were affecting present-day family relationships. I only use the standard form of hypnosis, which deals with the understanding and control of habits, ergo like smoking and overeating, drinking, all that. Let me make sure. If it was incorporated with past life regression, that is, the techniques I developed automatically put the subject into a past life situation. Thus, I did not concentrate on their present life. If you forget the past, the old saying, okay? All this changed, and that's what's wrong with people now. All this changed when I was inadvertently introduced to the phenomenon of UFO, unidentified flying object abduction experiences. My adventures took a totally different and unexpected direction. Doors opened and I was allowed glimpses of a world that others thought should be left shrouded in the murky darkness of the unknown. Some say it is better not to probe into things that our human mind is probably incapable of understanding. But if knowledge and understanding are there, I knew I would have to search and ask my exhaustible questions. Any new avenue of research always presents a challenge to me, and it is a challenge that I cannot ignore. But my entry into this field of research deviated from my normal course and would require altering my technique and adapting to new circumstances. I have always had an interest in UFOs, not I, so-called flying saucers, Foo Fighters. I have read much of the literature dealing with the phenomenon and was most impressed by the Betty and Barney Hill case when it was first introduced in the 1960s. The brother and the Pelican, the melanated brother and the Pelican sister. I have that book. I need to dig that book out. Okay, that is pretty interesting, pretty freaking interesting. Anyway, The Interrupted Journey is the name of the book for y'all who don't know. This was the first so-called abduction case. And there were many things in that report that convinced me that the Hills had a true experience. For example, the apparent telepathic communication and the non-hostile intent of the aliens seemed to be, to me, perfectly plausible. I also read what the cities had to say about the strange events in our skies that would not quietly disappear. After weighing the pros and the cons, I was privately convinced there was something real occurring that could not be explained by the the rational, logical thinking of the skeptics. Maybe the entire subject was never intended to be logical and simply explained. To be put, maybe the alien tactics were intended to do the very thing they ended up doing, making man wonder and consider the impossible, just like the Zionists who are the aliens on Ashkenaz or whatever you really want think, or if you know what they are, I want you to keep looking outside, regardless of what's out there. Your place is right here. You should mitigate this, but I'm just throwing that out there, okay? Because if you focused up and over there and all that, how are you going to see what's going on around you? Everything has its place and time, right? Two most powerful weapons, patience and time. How can you have patience if you don't know what's going on all the time? Even as a teenager in the late 1940s and early 1950s, when the first flying saucer accounts were made public and were met generally by public ridicule, I kept thinking there might be something to it. Of course there is. Over the years, I maintained a passive interest by reading and keeping up on the latest developments. But I never once thought, I would be taking an active part in the research and end up communicating directly with aliens from another sphere. This is what I like, of existence. Another sphere. Maybe Under the Dome. Any of y'all have watched that series? Maybe my years of work in the bizarre had carefully prepared me for the eventual encounter, because when it happened, I was not astonished, disbelieving, or frightened. I was curious. This has become my trademark. Yeah, y'all do get the flashlights and run to the dark places, but so do I. Curiosity. And it was to serve me well when it came to extracting information. Now, I'm going to read this paragraph. I'm going to tighten it off. I was introduced to the area of UFO research and investigation in May of 1985. Oh, man, I was 2 years in. My friend Mildred Higgins invited me to attend a state meeting with members of MUFON. Remember we talked about that in William Cooper's book? Pale Horse, MUFON. Okay. Mutual UFO Network, to be held at her home in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Mildred was assistant director for the state of Arkansas. She knew about my interest in the strange and unusual and thought I might like to meet some of the investigators and other interested people. Now, remember Will Cooper talked about this woman from Arkansas who he's conversing with? Okay. I might like to meet some of the investigators and other interested people. Even though it was not in my field of hypnotic past life regression, I thought it would be interesting to ask questions about some of the UFO cases I had read about. Now, remember I was talking about the movie Total Recall, Arnold Schwarzenegger and the other actor? That's where you can look at regression, like hypnosis. And that's by AI or a machine. You don't need that. 14 generations of information are within you. Why is it that most of people can't tap into it and have that recall? There's more than that because of what they've been doing to the babies and as you grow older with the fictional diseases and this, that, and other, which they've been creating. We had a pretty good chat in our SMS. I don't know if Ronald communicated, Chatahaya, Tim, quite a few Davis, quite a few of the brothers. And I don't, Tolo don't be saying nothing. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, we love her regardless. We were talking about not just the guns that were dropped off during the 80s and 90s and in certain places by government officials so brothers in the hood can kill each other besides the drugs. We were discussing certain things on these parameters. It was pretty interesting. We can get into that another time, probably on the podcast. I did set one up. I just haven't finished it to put it in. Because I said I was going to do it like Tuesday, Wednesday, and we're going to hold off for a little bit. Anyway. Hypnotic past life regression, I thought it would be interesting to ask questions about some of the UFO cases I had read about. At the meeting, I learned that MUFON is the largest and most respected of UFO investigation, we're almost done, and investigative organizations and has members worldwide. Since I suspected most of the people at the meeting would be scientifically oriented, I thought it best not to mention my work. It was still considered by many to be in the realm of the absurd. And I take my research too seriously to open myself up to ridicule. At that time, my work was carried on in private and few knew what I was exploring. We're going to stop there. I'm going to put a highlight on this. I'm going to use a pencil, actually a colored pencil. I really want to be able to erase it. I don't want to keep this book, all my books marked up. Right? And this gets pretty interesting, y'all. It really does. And I don't want to bend the pages or nothing like that. Okay? This book really, it gets. I've done read about a quarter way in, y'all, and it gets hoopity boopity. Okay? Now, as far as Civilization 1, when we think about Genesis 1 and Genesis 2, that's the reason why I'm writing it. You're gonna see it's gonna pick up, because it's like he reads stuff and then he goes to this place where it's kind of like a fascination of debunking while still holding on to the round earth and all this other crap. And that's something you have to disseminate yourself to be able to explore and be able to move through the hedge of all the crap to find a good path that's not the bog or the river with the gators, or but the straight path that is in this narrow space that all these big elephant grass got well hidden that you can't see, so you stay on the narrow. So that's what I realized when I was reading it, because I wasn't going to read it at first, and I was like, no, this has got some good information in it. Okay? It does. The Gods of Eden. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Anyway, it's The Gods of Eden by William Bramley. I think Snoo was, hey, Haas, what's going on, Sizzle? What's going on, brother? This is one that Snoo bought me. This is a really good one. Rondo, I got you, beloved. Marcus William, got you, I believe. Anybody else come in to speak? Where the sisters at? I guess it's Friday and they're about to go out and party or something. I don't know. Let's get it in. What was that? Okay, when we last left off, we were looking at Joshua 10:40, and I said, let's go ahead and read it. The genocide was justified by saying that the victims were all wicked. Remember? The slaughtering, when our people were slaughtering the bad people that kept coming here, that's how the narrative really went. Was justified by saying that the victims were all wicked. This cannot have been the true reason, because children and animals were also slaughtered. Remember that? Okay, just want to make sure you know. Okay, so we'll pick it up over here. I thought I heard the bell downstairs. Because when we last stood off, I want to make sure I got it. Here we go. They were no better about adhering to the commandments. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, nor anything that is thy neighbor's, when they committed genocide to take away the land of their neighbors. That sounds familiar, people? This behavior is puzzling because many biblical commandments do establish a decent code of conduct. For example, the Hebrews were admonished never to cooperate with a wrongdoer by giving false testimony, and another commandment stressed the importance of individual responsibility in the face of group pressure by stating, to which we see a lot of young brothers and sisters don't have today, so they don't hold themselves responsible. You shall not go along with a group in doing evil. Tolerance for outsiders was made law with. That should be a period there. Okay, you shall not go along with a group in doing evil. We'll say period. Tolerance for outsiders was made law with. That's weird. Anyway, tolerance for outsiders was made law with. And you shall not vex a stranger, nor oppress him. Thieves were usually required to pay. This is what I like, because in Africa I actually saw this. Pay restitution to their victims. And you see what has happened to us by these fraudulent ass Zionists. They have given it to their offspring who are holding positions, instead of giving it to the people of this actual land. That shows their perversion, while they're murdering the half-breed crypto or Sephardics in Palestine. How do we account for the existence of such humane commandments in the face of such barbaric behavior? Part of the answer may lie in the words of Manetho. The wonders which Moses narrates as having taken place upon the mountain of Sinai. The mountain upon which Yahweh reportedly gave Moses many of the commandments, it states, are in part a veiled account of the Egyptian initiation which Moshe transmitted to his people when he established a branch of the Egyptian brotherhood in his country. Okay. If y'all have never had that clear understanding, here you go. If Manetho's words are true, then many of the commandments may have come from human sources within the brotherhood rather than from custodial sources. This would indicate the continued presence of genuine humanitarians within the brotherhood despite custodial dominance. Moses himself appears to have been, at least to some degree, such a humanitarian, as the Bible describes Moses as a man of moderation who frequently intervened on behalf of the Hebrews. When Yahweh was about to mete out a violent punishment, as we shall see several times in this book, lingering humanitarian influences within the brotherhood have often come to the surface, but sadly, not enough to entirely undo the corrupting influences. Another puzzling aspect of the biblical genocide story was the behavior of the people being slaughtered. According to the Bible, only one city surrendered. The rest chose to fight and be butchered. When confronted with an overpowering Hebrew army, and perhaps even a thundering God, God in the sky, is it not likely that more besieged cities would surrender, or at least offer to vacate Canaan peaceably? What does that sound like? The whole world, and I think this is what the Zionists want, is the whole world's ready to turn on these fake Jews in Palestine. I believe it's the culmination of energy because I see this from every corner. The Bible presents an interesting explanation of why that did not happen. And the majority of the world don't really know who we are. That's what these bastions have created. Everything with a purpose. Anyway, there was not a city that made, this is Joshua chapter 11, verses 19 through 20. Okay, I'm going to read this. There was not a city that made peace with the children of Israel, save the Hivites, the inhabitants of Gibeon. All others they took in battle. For it was the Lord who hardened their hearts that they would go against Israel in battle, that he might destroy them utterly, and that they might find no favor, but that he might destroy them. Now, I believe this is a prelude to a truth that they could not right away or right out. They have hardened people's hearts in ignorance against you. And there are those who are speaking up for you all over, whether in Espanol, South America, so-called South America, even in places like Hong Kong. I had brothers, Chinese, not because of my Chinese, who were speaking, says, you know who you are, right? And I'm like, yeah. I've even had Native Americans subjugate themselves to say, man, a lot of us know who you are. You see what I'm saying? I've met Yiddish in Brooklyn, New York, who were just tired of Zionism, tired of the lies. Some of their relatives who were robbing, and they were fearful, and they would be out there saying, you know who you are, don't you? You know how they talk, you know, hey, you know who you are, you know, or yeah, man, I know who I am. No, do you really know? You know, I told you my great uncle, my uncles, right? Okay. People have a hard time accepting this, especially when it's coming from them. They think they're crazy when it's them because their hearts have been hardened because of their arrogance and their ignorance. That is something based on not the facsimile, but a fact. It's relevant to everything that's going on, and nobody's really saying things for what it is. Now, the above passage states that Yahweh had manipulated the victim peoples into fighting the Hebrews so that the victims could be destroyed. This is a stunning and important admission, for it would imply that Yahweh or other custodians dominated other cities in the region and used their influence to manipulate people into fighting the Hebrews. This would not have been the first time it happened. Damn sure it wouldn't. That's what happened here, y'all. The Bible reports similar manipulations in an earlier episode when the Hebrews were still slaves in Egypt. Aren't you a slave in Egypt right now? Then they bring it back, building all these pyramids, the ideology, call themselves something they're not. Yahweh had instructed Moses to go to the Pharaoh to ask that the Hebrew tribes be freed. But Yahweh, however, had influence over the Pharaoh, had influence over that Pharaoh, and Moses had been warned in advance that Yahweh would cause the Pharaoh to say no, according to the Bible. Jehovah had a definite reason for manipulating the Pharaoh in that fashion. Wouldn't that be the custodians? And this is Exodus, and this is the last one we'll read here, and I'll go to the next part. Exodus chapter 10, verses 1 through 2. And the Lord said to Moshe, go to the Pharaoh, for I have hardened his heart, strong delusion, and the heart of his servants, that I might show my powers before him, and so that you may tell in the ears of your son and your son's son that things I had brought about in Egypt, and my miracles which I have done among them, that you may know that I am the Most High. Now, you know I'm not getting y'all trapped off in some religion. It's not what it's about. It's the correlation of responsibility to look at things as they're laying down, to be able to see what is backwards, what has been flipped up on its head. Why is it that nobody else can see it? Well, we already proved that most people that go to these churches and mosques and all these other places don't even know who the true Hebrews are Shemitics. You got people that practice Islam, and they don't even recognize themselves as being the true Shemitics. The religion is hard to let go when you've been indoctrinated from childhood, singing, and the Jews, you see, they do that. They're just doing their, the Talmud. Anyway, and then the Quran verses, the surahs, going back and forth. And that'll make anybody go crazy and getting hit upside the head and everything else. And then the facsimiles of all the add-ons. You see what I'm saying? The woman should be covered from head to toe, blah, blah, blah. Covered don't mean over their body. It means covered by the grace of their existence. And the magnitude by not the perception of the perversion of look, but by the holiness of one's eye of his righteousness. See, this is where we allude to these non-sequential hereditary, these heretic, how do you say heretic? It's like heretic. I forget how you say hereditary. Anyway, these heretic ideologies that come from perverse individuals, mercy killings and this, that, and the other, and there's no mercy in it. Everything is sublime. And because why? Because no one's seeking the true light of who they are. So they are not covered in their self, in their truth. They are covered by outside entities. You know, there's an old saying in my tribe that the words they are spells. And when you say something like, I just don't feel good today. And I've said that I'm not in the best of weather. There is an entity. There is something that you create. You are that powerful that you aren't even in a relationship with, that takes it and drives it home in you. And it makes the instability. It makes the frequency and wave, it disrupts because it's supposed to remind you that you have control. And instead of taking control of it, you further limit yourself to that particular thing. And that's in the Chickasaw. And that's why they were able to fight the giants. They would never have doubt, specific doubt. I thought I would share that. Who's that? JB, what's going on, beloved? Yeah, we made it to Friday. We didn't have enough, so you saw I put my wallet and I put my little rack up there. I was like, man, I can't even order the books, man. So we'll wait next week. We'll get some books in. Maybe next weekend we'll have enough. We can do it. Like, come on. Anyway, Reptilians in the History of Humankind, Anunnaki, by Henry Crane. Okay. Oh man, I like this book. This book is a good one. Excuse me, guys. And I want you, remember, this is Enlil's big fraud, okay? So, this month we're going to be talking about the Carians. The Karens. No, let's get the Carians. Yo, peep this out. Now, check this out. Listen to this. Now, y'all know this is just for those who have a good memory, okay? I'm not going to rehash what was going on here because we're getting into the place where we're talking about the most, and it's going to explain something. So, I'm not going to say it, I'm just going to read it. Meanwhile, a group of Carians went to the moon to ask the Pleiadians what was the most advanced human race in those moments on Earth. According to the observations, the Pleiadians replied that the Mesoamerican civilizations had an incredible potential and were the fittest to be transferred to Mars and saved from the future manipulation. So do you believe that people stealing identity, all ideas, technology, inventions, and they're setting off to make a barter with their hybrid? Are there people put in positions in all the governments, Portugal, Germany, whatever, who would subjugate the people to fight to not know who we are, to build walls and send certain breeded and selected individuals around the Arctic Wall to establish weapons and everything else and missile sites, to covet the first establishments of civilization that we created, to keep us from being able to return once those of us who know would speak and let you know, so they can emulate to go outside and pursue with enemies abroad? Anyway, let's further read. I'm just suggesting that. Subsequently, the Carians went to Enki and asked his opinion in his regard. Enki said that the civilization that should be saved and transferred to Mars was the Mayas. The Carians held Enki to that and told him to communicate with the Mayas, to ask them if they wanted to be saved and transferred to Mars. Enki communicated with the Mayas. In addition, he told them that they had been chosen to be saved from the deluge, the destruction. It was bigger than what you could think. The Maya leaders took this as a prophecy from their gods. So they asked the people if they wanted to be transferred out of the earth. The vast majority agreed, and so it was that, from one day to the next, the Carians took the Maya in a huge ship, along with 80% of the interterrestrials, towards the Abzu of Mars. The other 20% of the remaining interterrestrials decided to stay in the Abzu on the Earth to preserve their home and continue studying humans. And in addition, they already had the technology to reach Mars without problems. Once they took out the Mayas and part of the interterrestrials from Earth, the Draconians started to work and led the first gray ones to the region of Asia, since that was the part of the world that was less indoctrinated. Although the first gospels started to arrive, it was not yet defined their belief system. So the Draconians introduced the Igigi, gray ones, to communicate with the leaders of those regions and teach them a belief system totally different from those established by the Anunnaki. And in the regions of the Middle East, who had begun to be indoctrinated with the Gospels, they began to change the name of the god Yahweh and Jesus, and it was this as they began to use names such as Zoroaster, Muhammad, Allah, etc. This was with the purpose for humankind not to worship only Yahweh, since that gave power to Enlil and allowed him to live double the time on average his race lived. By saying that we can give energy to things and make them last forever, even in ignorance or in lies, which the Draconians tried to avoid at all costs, obviously at the back of the Anunnaki, in order not to look suspicious. Now, in the meantime, Enki contacted the members of the White Brotherhood and proposed them to expand all over the world. That is to say, to create more brotherhoods around the world to try to stop all the manipulation that was coming. It should be noted that the leaders of the White Brotherhood were the lineage of Jesus, who, following the teaching of their master, did not have any communications with the Anunnaki to avoid being manipulated. However, several members of the Brotherhood could contact Enki through the phases and inform them about his proposal for expansion. Now, the lineage of Yeshua had already thought of expanding, and they decided it was a good idea due to the resolution that the Galactic Confederation had taken on turning the planet into a difficult test for humans. So they started the expansion of this brotherhood, attracting more and more followers and camouflaging with different names all over the earth in order not to be detected by the Anunnaki, all with the sole purpose of awakening humankind and to promote their evolution. Does that sound like the Shiki? Giant humans? On the other hand, Anu, who was appointed by the Usumagal as the leader of their human farm, devoted himself to direct and coordinate the farm. He finally had the freedom to leave the fourth dimension and return when he wanted to. And worried by the power that Yahshua still had on earth, he came up with an absurd idea. But if it worked out, it would diminish the influence of Yahshua on earth and multiply the negative energy captured by the Anunnaki. So what do we know about the enemy? What do we know about baby sacrifices and human sacrifices and fear? What do we know about what happens to the pineal when in fear? DMT and the release, when death is about, when the calmness takes over. Why do they have synthetic endocrine? Is any of that making sense? Could these stories be alluding to something? Could they be telling you something that's fact-based, that gives you a vision of something going on that most people cannot express or explain? Does it allude to something that is quasi-beneficial? I mean, or does it make people want to just run into that information and absorb it all up? I'm not here for you to do that. Don't do that. Do not absorb all this stuff as facts. There are pieces and parts, and you have to let yourself be able to remember some things. Now, some of the things I'm actually speaking on don't mean nothing at all. Yet there's plenty of things, puzzle pieces, and you have to seek. Forget what your wants are, what you believe you need. Belief is a fabricated idea. You should seek to know. So we're going to keep doing this and keep going, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and read Alien World Order, The Reptilian Plan to Divide and Conquer the Human Race by Len Caston, and we're going to close it out at that. Just a couple of paragraphs, okay? And some will say, well, why didn't you read the first two? If you were paying attention to custodians and the first civilization, you would realize what I'm alluding to. And damn near every book we've read, custodian. Like, come on, people. And you got to remember that the custodians, by happen chance, were not the first ones here. They don't build pyramids, right? By the narrative. So what picture is that painting? Are you taking that literally, or are you looking at the storyline and realizing somebody's following the script? And there are people, because the cults and the orders, there's many of them, writers and everything else. They prolificate. You know what I'm saying? And they have to put information to keep the mind stirring. I'm letting you know that you have to be able to build a picture, putting the right puzzle pieces in the proper perspectives. Okay. Now, the female warriors. Okay. Alien World Order, the Reptilian Plan to Divide and Conquer the Human Race. The female warriors. Several factors had contributed to permitting the female reptilians to be now ready and prepared for battlefield action and to become deadly warriors. Of major importance was the cessation of the menstrual cycle. On their home worlds, the female's menstrual cycle was regular and predictable because of the solar radiation. However, in the faraway solar systems of the conquered planets, this regulation was absent. About this, like Morning Sky says, and this is what she alludes to. On their homeworld, females were bathed constantly with harsh solar radiation from their multiple suns. Pulsing solar storms forced a rhythmic fluctuation in their reproductive cycles, forcing them to produce a chemical in their bodies that would assist in regulating the birth and conception process. But in the vast reaches of space, away from the home, with world suns, and away from the forces that generated eternal bodily cycles, the female fluctuation stopped entirely. The menstrual cycle of the female reptilians ceased altogether. In space, reptilian females could still conceive and bear children, but only through the direct and deliberate stimulation of the conception hormones. What this means is that reptilian women had no menstrual cycle. They could completely choose when and if they wanted to become pregnant. Well, damn, did they spit them out in a month too? I'm just kidding, stop. Being free of menstrual cycle limitations, the females were able to join in military operations, but to the surprise of the neck kings, the female warriors were even more deadly than the males, thanks to the transformation of the naturally produced venom in the female hormonal system. No longer necessary for reproduction, the venom became available as the defense mechanism for which it originally was intended. Morningstar says this as well. But, to everyone's surprise, the natural venom of the reptilian females became even more deadly than it had ever been before. Under battlefield conditions, the rush of adrenaline running through the bloodstream of women added to the potency of the venom. Excuse me. Sounds like the Spider-Man venom, doesn't it? Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. To the pleasant surprise of the kings and to the misfortune of their enemies, because of the natural transformation of the venom and because of the added adrenaline influence. Now, the naturally produced venom of the reptilian females rendered them far more dangerous and far more deadly than any of the male reptilian warriors, still capable of spitting a hot, deadly poison at the eyes of their enemies. Damn, that's some alien shit. Anyway, the new venom now virtually assured death to any soldier on the battlefield who confronted the reptilian females. Now, we'll read the next part, but we're well over an hour. Well, we're not well over, but we're over an hour. And that's when we're going to get into no sentiments. And that is pretty interesting as well. That's all. I'm yawn. Yeah, I'm a little tired. I got to finish my salad, though. I've got to. So that kind of points, what does that point at? To me, right? I'm not denouncing any of that exists or doesn't. What I'm saying is women, when y'all get heated and pissed the hell off, and I'm not even talking about the women that go through that little transitional period, you know, menopause. Y'all spit some venom, boy. Y'all get motherfuckers, broken men when y'all, and that's power. But it's negative and it's against you as well. Now imagine that power being worthy to not infuriate, but to upbring and raise the men. Getting rid of that disdain, that stupid femininity, that stuff the design has created. That's many dumb Negro women running around and pale skin women. Y'all got a choice. Thank goodness there's many of them that kind of moved away from that. But seriously, you know what I'm saying? What was that? Hey, what's that? Hope Ransom, what's going on, beloved? I didn't know she was in here. Hey, what's up, mama? Anyway, and that's a reality. I know that our women, and the story that I learned from my great grandmother and everything, that if a man fell and a woman was there, she was as capable as him to fight the enemy. That's what needs to be known. People have a hard time accepting when I tell you that the woman is powerful, and our power abdicated by them makes us powerfully to be able to protect that power. It's instrumental. So right now, why do you see people running around half crazy? Men doing dumb shit, raping and all that other stuff. Women fighting the men because there's no balance. Everybody leans on that little fraction of a percent of the ignorance they deal with in this world, and that is becoming the nomenclature. That is building, and that needs to die because no one's going to succeed. None of you, male or female, none of you are going to succeed being at each other's throat because you know, we have all these people talking negative about women, these men, and we have the, you know, pastor and all this, and we have these women talking negative about the brothers. That is not who we were in the 1950s and 60s. How can we make it another, you know, 60 years, and over the last 20 to 30 years, fall away so far in 3 decades? Shame. Shame. You know, I know some sisters gonna be like, well, either you get it. I'm not here to make up lies and tell stories. I keep telling you what I read. It's puzzle pieces. Every book plays a part. Oh my goodness, that is good. And these are fresh radishes too. Every piece, everyone plays a part, guys. And I wasn't lying when I said love is the answer, because y'all, the majority of y'all ain't ready to fight shit. A lot of y'all gonna learn and take your last breath, sadly. And you're gonna see it. Everything's gonna play out for you a million trillion miles a second before you snuff your life here, because you're ignorant. Same thing with the people who are hiding and working on these pages. I don't care what they're doing in these platforms. They're going to find out the hard way too. And nobody's going to hear you go, but give me another chance. You're not even going to have a chance for that. And it's going to happen soon. Real soon. I don't care what you think or believe. Remember, belief don't get nothing done. I know some of y'all say, belief does that. Okay, whatever. When you believe that you believe in whatever you believe, you hold on to that. You dig what I'm saying? And I appreciate y'all taking the time. It's a Friday. You gotta let me know what you're bringing up, man. What you gonna bang off with? Rondo, I know you're gonna bring some good stuff, bro. I wish West Side Trauma would come, and anybody else is close by, you know, Cali, Texas, whatever. We have a little fun. A few hours at the range. Go to the indoor range, check out things. Look at some of the stuff, because it's retail. Now the gun range there, it wasn't retail before. They had a few guns and rifles and stuff. Now they're selling. And I mean they're selling. Ammo. Plenty of ammo. And y'all get to see that when you come. Okay? So I did say, Alicia and Nick, Ganja and Orlando. Appreciate it. Appreciate the donations. That's a 30, you know, all the way around. We're getting there. We're almost there. Oh, we're getting there. I told y'all I added that book. It's just what it is, you know. Tomorrow morning, chat a little bit. Black Rambo TV, Scar 17. I almost bought a Scar 17. Thank goodness I didn't. If it ain't full auto, I don't want no Scar 17. But we'll get it. I might break down and say order 20 more, but the stuff is the mail. Something's going on, because the mail, remember, it was kind of fast. It's really doing some weird stuff right now. And where's it at? Oh, here we go. Celery water. This one is by Suja. I like it. I've drank this for years. When it first came out. Oh yeah, it's like celery water I make. This is good. Oh yeah, cold press. That's the best way. But anyway, I appreciate y'all. You dig what I'm saying? What's that? Anyway. And Snoo, she sleep, y'all. She was like, I'm tired. I know she's tired. She's fighting that stuff still. Anyway, you know what? I got Celtic salt. I use it. I don't know if I can trust it, because I ordered it before. Right now, I was gonna order some more, and it was like out. Remember what I was saying? You know, I'm like, are they? Because that's beneficial, blood pressure and everything. I'm like, are they messing with that too? Because you got to remember now, we're in a time when things are messed up. You know, people are starting to realize that that is not Joe Biden. People are really starting to key in on things. And we even had this ex-FBI, ex-police officer talking to that Hindu dude, telling him to be safe, to get some confident people around him. This world has went buckeye crazy, y'all. And you can, I mean, you can see it for whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? But it has went crazy. You dig what I'm saying? And what are we to do? What are we to do, right? What are we to do? What are you to do? You know what I'm saying? Well, anyway, come on, brothers. It ain't like it was. I wish everybody was coming up. Ronald, let me know when you get over the west side. I didn't send him no message or nothing because I know that he might be looking at whatever he's doing, his music or whatever. Like he said, he's got to get that thing right. You know what I'm saying? I know that's troublesome for him. But yeah, you know, let him know, you know, everybody's saying, you know, get well or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, he gotta get back in the seat, man. You know, he's a force to be reckoned with. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you got to keep moving. You know, when I box, you know, it's because I had a couple of pumpkins on my head or, you know, a loose tooth or my pissing some blood, don't mean I stop. You know, but everything's everything. You dig what I'm saying? Yo, MC, what's going on? Hey, look, man, I'm about to slide off, y'all. Appreciate y'all. Be on in the AM. Don't be out there all getting greasy and partying all hard and everything. No, man, shut the high. What's going on, beloved? I think you might have been driving or something. But anyway, yeah, what's going on, beloved? But anyway, y'all, like I said, Gonzo will be here Sunday. We're going to be out the range. We're going to record a little bit. We're going to do some little movements and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of tactical crazy because we really need a team. You know, we need a team. Now, I train with some individuals. You know, we move like numbers deep. We know we got drones. We know how to do things. We got big drones. We got little drones. We know how to, you know, bound. Like I'm holding down fire. You run pie. Tap my shoulder. Lock in. You always got one ready. Transitioning. He's keeping heads down. Says the other ones, 3 or 4 going. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things a lot of people can learn. And I would love to see the sisters, instead of looking at YouTube sisters and, you know, doing this stuff, actually come out and get involved and stop just sitting on their lollygagging ass because they got a lazy nigga with them. I'm not sitting here demeaning your men, but if he ain't taking you out and you ain't learning, he ain't no damn good. All right, I don't give a damn if you had 12 babies by the nigga. If he ain't taking you out and you ain't learning and moving with a team and operating together, and he believes in control of you, I'm doing whatever he says. You is lost. All right, and same thing, vice versa. If your old lady can't handle, and you got guns and rifles and all that, and burkas and swords and whatever, you know, I'm talking about a Gurkha sword and everything. I got one, but if she don't know how to use. Pathetic. Sisters need to know everything that you have. They should be able to utilize. And a lot of times at the gun range, the women that never outshoot the men. Like there's some center there, like for real. We're not talking about the one that was with our brother that with the shotgun or eating too much KFC and shit and Big Macs, but we talking about, you know, sisters, man, and they should be moving with a whole lot of brothers with their eyes based on the training and everything else and none more. And with responsible men who are going to train to be proficient, all the phones and everything, except for maybe one, locked away in the vehicles so nobody be hearing, you know. And, you know, there was what was it? Back in the 90s, you could take the battery, 2000, and somewhere around like 2015, like during the war, you know, the cell phones, a lot of them had the batteries. You know, are you aware that the government made it where you can take the batteries out and they can still listen to you on the phone? So these phones right now, a lot of them, you can't, there's no battery to take out. So you can turn it off and they can still look and hear you. You got to know how to go into the system and remove all those things that are windows and doors. The majority of people don't know how to do that. And you had these fake, what are you doing, man? Get down. CIA, disinformation cats coming talking about Faraday bags don't work. Yeah, you believe that, you stupid. You better order you a couple of them Faraday bags and a couple of stainless steel containers. Little $80 ones, Put them things in there when you go to sleep that you can get right to, or if you don't want to use a charge or a battery, which you can just open up, take the phone out, 911, I need assistant. You know what I'm saying? But that's what you need to do. And your smart TVs, you can unplug them, but they have transistors in those too. Where those TVs, even though you unplugged it, because the net and those transformers that are in the TV, because sometimes you can see that light little film when you unplug it. Some of you can see them on some of your smart TVs. That thing's gonna be on for about 24 to 48 hours, still able to look, hear you, tied in with the where it can pick up and graph wherever you're moving through the house. I'm just saying, y'all, look it up. Don't believe me. Fuck what I'm saying. Look it up. All right, that's all the tea I'm gonna give you for tonight. All right, appreciate y'all. Love sisters. If you came in the house, brothers, see y'all in the AM. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. All right.